Yes.
Yes, Maria.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, how's everyone doing? It's Happy International Yoga Day and summer solar eclipse as well, and the summer solstice. It's a powerful day today. It's a purging day, actually. So I hope you're feeling okay. There is a lot of emotion surfacing, a lot of old beliefs could come up when you have thought that I've gotten rid of this, but why is it still here? So just be gentle with yourselves and see how it goes in the next couple of days. Just keep on focusing on what it is that you want. So let's dive into the topic for today. Please feel free to put in your questions in the chat box, and then you can unmute yourselves in the end to ask me questions. Please mute your lines so it doesn't interrupt others who are listening to us. So today I want to talk to you about how to keep your energy field and the space around you super clean and healthy. So if you are new to energy, or if you're not, it's important to understand that we have an aura. The aura is the product of our thoughts. It's the product of our emotions. And our aura consists of many layers. We have emotional bodies, we have mental bodies, and we have different etheric bodies. So when we talk about the word aura, or when I use the word aura, please understand that it's not just one aspect, it's layers that it's being very much intertwined together. So when you are having a certain thought over and over again, either consciously or most importantly subconsciously, then what it does, it creates these thought bubbles in your energy field. And it starts to nest itself and create a more denser energy field, or a denser vibration, because energy is something light, it's subtle, right? But when it's a low vibrational thought, so low vibrational thought means a negative thought or a negative emotion, then it's much denser. So if you have your palms activated energetically, you'll be able to scan or feel that density. If you don't, then the best indication is how your body is feeling and how your mind is in general, how stressed you are, how relaxed you are. So when we are having multiple thoughts that are in low vibrational frequency, which is about fear, anger, resentment, sadness, grief, anything that brings our energy down, it's like a spinning effect, but it's very dense, and it's like a pulling effect on us. Then what it does is it creates these thought bubbles in our aura, and then it starts to become very much clogged. When it starts to get clogged, when your aura gets clogged, then your clarity starts to fade away, your creativity starts to fade away, your physical body starts to have different ailments, pains, discomfort, inflammation, etc. Yeah. And in life in general, you start to notice that some things, not necessarily everything, starts to become more stagnant, and you feel stuck in a certain process. So it is super important that to cleanse the aura, to cleanse the energy field, and I'm going to do that for you today with the process of energetic cleansing. I will do that for you today, and you will start to notice the shift of how you were before the call and how you are after the call. There are different ways of cleansing the aura. If we are using a certain product outside of ourselves, then we can use things like different herbs, such as sage, or a plant like Palo Santo, or frankincense, or sandalwood, whichever part of the world you really come from. I'm sure you've heard of either one of these. And nowadays, since everything is on the internet, we are being able to tap into different cultures who talk about these. So having these herbs help us to create a different vibrational field around us. That's their job, that's their role. These particular herbs or these particular plants. I know that many people like incense sticks, right? I have many at home and I love them. It's important to differentiate that just by lighting an incense stick does not necessarily mean the energy field is changing, because most of them are just fragrance based. They're like changing the smell of the field. However, when you are using these particular products like sage, palo santo, frankincense, sandalwood, then what you're doing is their frequency, their hundreds of years of potency is having an impact on the aura. So if you do have any of these, then one of the first tips I advise you to do is to have them on a daily basis, depending on the level of density that you feel in. I would like to use the word density today to explain basically the discomfort that you might be feeling. So whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. Okay, so let's use the word density for today. If you are having a certain density in your energy field, then I would advise you to do the cleansing, and I'll demonstrate how to do that in the morning once you wake up, and then right before you fall asleep. You see, when we fall asleep, our subconscious mind is dominant, way more dominant than it naturally is. And the conscious mind has obviously gone into a state of trance. So whatever is happening in the subconscious mind easily surfaces. Remember, the subconscious mind is having an impact on your aura, right? So if you have cleansed yourself before you fall asleep, then you have helped yourself to reduce the impact of that density of the daily things that your mind is thinking about. And the more you end up practicing day by day, you start to notice gradual ease in your thought forms, a gradual ease in your lightness. You start to feel that, okay, I'm feeling a bit lighter. I'm starting to get a bit more clarity. Things are moving a bit more forward. Now, this is the simplest, basic way a person can do for themselves, because we are in a soup of energy field, right? Just because you cannot see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, it does not mean it does not exist. It's a quantum field which binds us all together to one another. So whether you are sitting at home 24/7, or you're interacting with people outside, or you're interacting them like we are doing right now virtually, then you are still creating a connection. So you are giving and receiving energy information with one another. And when you do that, if you have the receptivity within you, that means the seed of those low vibrational thoughts, if someone said anything regarding that or acted in a certain way regarding those low vibrational thoughts, it becomes a match and it starts to affect you. So how can I simplify this? Let's say if I have a certain fear of being an empath, I fear that people will absorb my energy, right? I hear this a lot. And I used to have that years ago. So if I have discovered this about myself, that I'm an empath, people are going to feed on my energy, I'm going to get affected by them, I need to protect myself, etc. Then what happens is, because that seed of thought is there in my auric field, that if someone said something negative or judged me, or I felt a sense of discomfort from them, it kind of triggers that certain seed within me, and that seed just blossoms. Unfortunately, it blossoms in a negative manner, right? So it creates this discomfort within ourselves. We feel physically uncomfortable. We feel that our energy is drained. We feel our thoughts are thinking so many unhealthy, negative thoughts over and over again. And unfortunately, many times people end up blaming the other person for this without realizing that they have the seed within their aura. So if you continuously cleanse your energy field, those seeds that are present or that are there will start to diminish. And that is how life starts to change for you. And that is how you start to attract new people, you attract new opportunities in your field. So as I mentioned, step one, it's important to have one of those herbs to cleanse your energy field around yourself on a daily basis. The best way to do that, from years of my experience, is you start from your left foot. So I have, for example, in here, I have my sage. I want to show you. So what I do with my sage is, instead of just burning a whole bunch of it, I just get a small leaf like that. And you'll now see how this leaf is really going to last. It saves you a lot. So when I'm using something like sage, again, it depends on your personal preference, based on the smell, based on what you like. So I start with the left foot. I stand straight. I will start with the left foot and I will create a circular movement around my body until I reach to the left foot again. 7 times will create a pure energetic circular movement around you. So having the sage and doing it 7 times around, see, it's already like burning off quickly. So doing that circular movement, you have cleansed your energy field 7 times. Now, some people ask me why 7 times. There has been many numerological reasons for that. It's considered one of the sacred numbers for many different sacred practices. So that is one of the reasons that I've practiced and I've done it. Now, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now, if you start from the left side going up, you're actually doing an anti-clockwise. Now, if you look at me, I'm doing an anti-clockwise movement. So it's anti-clockwise, it's not clockwise. So the best way for you not to get confused, start from the left, go up and come back to the left. So think of your left foot as being 6 on the clock, right? And your crown is 12. So you're going from 6 to 12 backwards. So it's anti-clockwise. Again, as I said, do this in the morning as soon as you wake up. Why as soon as you wake up? Because when you're having dreams, you are in a different parallel reality. You are in a different state of consciousness. So you could have released a lot of emotions in that dream. You could have, if you have done any healing, then during your sleep, it's a powerful time to let go and shed. The layers can shed easily. Your body is rejuvenating and regenerating, so it's releasing toxins. So that is why a quick boost for your energetic body is to start to do that as soon as you wake up. And then before you fall asleep, you do the cleansing again. So this is one thing that will help your aura to stay clean and pure. And as you notice, we're not analyzing what the issue is or what the reason for it is. In many cases, analysis actually creates more of an entanglement with the energy. Generally, I personally prefer, when I'm doing any form of energetic work, or even if I'm doing coaching work, I like to not to entangle to the storyline, because the more we start to talk about it and relive those emotions, we are letting them surface again, and the mind starts to believe that that's a reality. So if someone has gone through a difficult circumstance or a difficult situation, that memory is already there. It's already stuck in the cellular memory. It's already in the subconscious mind. To dig it up for the person to see it again, in my opinion, in some cases, that's not a necessity. And it will stimulate more discomfort for the person. So we do not really, I always like to give this example, and I've learned this from Leonard Orr, the founder of Rebirthing Breathwork, where he used to say, if you want to throw away your garbage every day, do you check every single thing that you've eaten and that you've thrown in the garbage? You really don't. You just throw it out of the house and that's it. So it's the same thing. Whatever is stuck in your energy field, you don't need to pinpoint on it and put labels on it. You're feeling not well, just cleanse yourself. Yeah. So this is one way. Again, I'm not against analysis. I do have my analytical mind working many times, but if you feel that you want to release it without any judgment or going into a deep digging process, then just do this process first. Now, I'm going to move a little bit to the concept of space before I go back into the aura again. So wherever you live, whatever objects you have, though they have a frequency for themselves. They have an energetic frequency. So whether it's your bed, whether it's your phone, whether it's your bedroom, whether it's your living room, whether it's a bag that you own, each one has an energetic field around it. They don't have to be a living being to have an energy field around it. Okay? A living being has a different vibrational frequency. So there is information being stored in the objects and in the places that we are in. So if you are going back to the topic of sensitivity, if you are sensitive, you can easily pick up different places that when you visit, or different people when you see, how you get affected by them. Yeah. And if you're not sensitive, it's useful to have this in mind, that just like we human beings shower and cleanse ourselves, the objects and the space that we're in also need to be showered and cleansed. Hence, we do cleaning, right? We do physical cleaning. We take away the dust, we clean the floors, we hoover, etc. So although all of those are very, very important because they're happening on a physical level, so you're releasing the dust, you're cleaning the floors, energetic cleansing is also a necessity. One of the easiest things I invite people to do, which they can do it immediately, is to take sea salt, because sea salt has the potency and the impact of cutting through dense energy. Okay, that's why the earth is surrounded with water mostly than land, and thankfully it is like that. And our bodies are 70% water. So water and salt have a very strong impact to cut through dense energies. Now, I'm not going to use the element of water yet. I'm just going to focus on the salt element. So if you get sea salt, a pinch of sea salt, just a tiny bit, and you start from the entrance of your house. So look at this. Imagine that this is my door, my entrance of my actual house. I'll put my back to the door and my house is in front of me. Okay, so this is inside. I start from my right side, not my left side, my right side, and I will just follow the wall of the whole space that I am in. And every corner that I encounter, I will put a pinch of sea salt. And I'll keep that sea salt there. I can keep it for 3 days, or from new moon till full moon, or full moon till new moon, depending on, so that would be a 15-day period. So 3 days or a 15-day period. And then I will hoover it around. When you start putting these sea salts in your corners, and I'll explain why in the corners in a minute, you will start, the salt will start to absorb what is stuck in the energy field. Why in the corners? So you can see I have a corner here right behind me, right? Corners, according to feng shui and many space clearing practices, like even the Indian form of Vastu, they focus that the corners always trap energy in. Okay, so when it's a corner, the energy is not fluidly moving around. When you have the salt in those corners, everything that has been stuck for months and years, even right before you have actually entered that space, whether it's a house or a workplace, it will start to gradually absorb it. An important question that I'm reading right now is, do I have to leave the salt for a period of time? Yes, because you need to make sure that all that period of accumulation starts to go away. So the salt is not going to do it like that for you. It's going to take time to absorb. One of the techniques that in feng shui practice they do, what they do is they keep a bowl of sea salt in certain parts of the house throughout the year. And what that does is they leave it for 1 full year. They call it the sea salt remedy. And a year later, from one New Year, Chinese New Year, to the other, they throw it out. I have a pet myself. Now, if you believe that that's going to cause an issue for your pet, then what you can do is, we don't want anything to happen to the pets. I love animals. So you can find a way of either putting it in a tissue and covering it up, and putting it in the corner. If you believe your pet's going to go and eat the tissue as well, then what I would recommend, if this is something absolutely impossible for you to do, then you need to clean your house with sea salt and water every 3 days. Okay, for, I would say, easily for a month or 2 months, to wash away those energy fields. Yeah. I mean, I have my dog at home. Thankfully, he's not someone who would go around and lick or eat things like that. So yes, please be mindful of your pets. However, if sea salt putting in the corners is not your best option, then you can clean the house with sea salt and water every 3 days. You can do that. You can. By keeping the sea salt in a small bowl and keeping it up, you can. However, whenever you're putting a sea salt in a bowl, please don't cover the lid, okay? Because you're creating a stagnant energy in the bowl. You can keep it somewhere. So for example, if I have this corner and I have my window seal over there, I can put it a little bit at the top and keep it there. Now, one of the things you can do, like a shorter version of that, instead of every single corner of the house, you put it in the 4 corners of your house. So you make sure what are your 4 corners. The duration of keeping the salt is either 3 days and then you wash it away or you hoover it away, or from new moon to full moon and full moon to new moon. You follow the moon cycles of it, okay, which is a 15-day period basically. So 3 to 15 days. Do not leave it longer than 15 days in the house. The salt's potency will go away. It will cause stagnation. Yeah. So yeah, open bowls are necessary. You know, Himalayan sea salt and just regular sea salt, I've noticed a difference energetically from each one of them. You can experiment with Himalayan sea salt. I am someone who personally prefers natural sea salt. You can hang them in the corner, definitely. If you are hanging them in a certain fabric, then I would advise you to, so let's be a bit logical with the process. So the energy is getting stuck on the fabric, okay? Or whatever product that you're using to hang them in. It's important that you then either wash that or you throw it away with the sea salt. So if you were able to see the dirt of the energy that it covers, you wouldn't even keep it.
ना वर्षा क्लिनिक पे लगाओ, जहाँ से ये इसके लिए वो लाए थे.
Okay. So guys, keep yourselves muted. So whenever you're having fabrics or products that you want to use for them, even the bowls that you're going to use them, You only use them for that. You don't then use it at some point to eat stuff from it, okay? It's very important when it comes to space clearing or energetic work, you dedicate the products for certain objects and you only use those products for that. You don't play around with it, okay? So also preferably, if I want to be really picky, I would prefer not to use plastic. Okay, I would either use glass, or I would use metal, or I would use pottery, yeah, clay, if I really needed to be very specific on that. But the cheapest option is, if you don't have the pets, you put the sea salt. No one will even notice because it's going to be like like literally a pinch. If you want, you can put them in a tissue. Like I don't have a tissue with me now, but you can put the sea salt in the tissue and wrap around it, and you put it in the corners. So either the 4 main corners of the house or every single corner of the house, which is actually what I would really, really prefer. Open corners. It doesn't have to be the walk-in cupboards that you're putting in, unless the walk-in cupboards are attached to the wall. So basically, have a look at where you find a corner in your house. Everyone's housing dimension is quite different. I want to show you this corner that I have. You see here, I have a corner here. This is one, and then I have another corner here. So if I wanted to put the sea salt, I'll be putting one here, and I'll be putting one here at the same time. When it comes with closed cabinets and corners, what I prefer to do is to have them in mesh nets, and I keep the sea salt there to absorb the energy of the clothes and the shoes. Those mesh nets, either I throw them away. Now that can be costly again. Going back to a cheaper option, you would use the tissue for that, or you would have to rewash the mesh nets again and reuse them. So this is something that it's important to keep in mind for your house. If you did this, I would recommend, because tell me, I would bet that no one has done space clearing, or maybe one person has done space clearing from the call today. So if my bet is right, and if my guess is right, then easily for 3 months, easily do this for 3 months, and just keep this going for a while until you actually gain concrete results. Now, these are just the very basic and simple things that you can do today. There are so many other things which I teach in my space clearing class in order to speed up the process of the cleansing. For example, one of the things that we need to be aware of, which I teach in the course, is about knowing the certain areas of the house that are affected. So if your money area is affected, we need to focus on the money area and how to cleanse that space. If the relationship area is affected, we need to focus on that relationship area and what tools we need to focus on that. So that's more detailed and it takes a longer time to explain, and that's what I teach in the space clearing course that's coming up on the 3rd of July. Another thing I want to explain is that the space that you're in, the bed that you sleep in, has absorbed a lot of your released emotions. So one of the things I advise people is, do not do healing sessions on your bed unless you know how to clean your bed later on. Because when you're doing healing sessions on your own bed, you're releasing stuff. And then for you to sleep on that bed later on, it can trigger, or it can have those thought bubbles still hanging around. So if you were to do any healing sessions, especially now that we do a lot of online sessions, please cleanse the space, your bed, after the session immediately. I would definitely invite you all to do this tonight. If you have your sage or Palo Santo with you, or your sandalwood or frankincense, whatever you have, I would invite you to definitely cleanse your space, your bed. Start from the head of the bed. So let's imagine that this is my bed. Okay, this is the head. This is where I put my foot. So you're standing by the foot, you take the sage and you start from the top of the head, okay? And you start to do an anti-clockwise cleanse. So I'm not saying go on top of the bed. You're doing it energetically, yeah? Your hand movement is doing that. And again, going 7 rounds, completely cleansing. So again, if this is the feet, this is the head, I'm standing by the feet because that's the easiest option. Don't go to the sides, stand at the feet corner, the feet part. Hold your stick of the sage or the Palo Santo and start to do the cleansing. Obviously, your hand is not going to reach all the bed, right? So this will help to cleanse the energy field of your bed. One of the things of people can have a lot of stagnation around their bed, and I've been guilty of that many, many years ago, although I used to love that, is when one side of the bed is attached to the wall. I used to love that. You know, I used to enjoy that, but I knew even when I had that it's not healthy. Why? Because it's blocking the energy from one side and it's only allowing one side of the energy to take place. So it's always healthier. And I'm going to say the second thing, which many people again do a lot, is they put stuff under their bed. Do not put stuff under your bed if you have that option. If you do not have that option, please go ahead and sprinkle very generously sea salt on the objects that you've put, like suitcases and stuff, okay, or boxes. Generously just put the sea salts there, put like 4 sea salt corners below your bed, at the bottom of your bed, for that to absorb away. Yeah, we all deserve and need to have a good night's sleep in order to help us regenerate our bodies properly. So if your bed has one side of the wall, then again, make sure that that corner has been sprinkled with sea salt. Same rule, every 3 days you hoover it, or every 15 days you hoover it out. Okay, so this is regarding sea salt. I'm going to move a little bit into the concept of crystal work. Crystals have a certain vibrational frequency, which help us to balance the aura around us and the energy field around us. So there are certain crystals that can help us. Yes, I know with the drawers under the bed, I've been guilty of that. I've had that, but I've made a promise to myself to no longer buy products like that. And finally, I've no longer buy those products. Although there's so much safe place saving, right? Space saving. You just need to put the sea salt in your drawers under the bed then. Unless you want to experiment or spend on a new bed, right? But just, guys, please keep this in mind for the future whenever you're going to purchase a new bed for yourselves and how you want to place it. Your bed is like 8 hours minimum you're spending time in your bed, okay? It's supposed to be your heaven. It's supposed to be the place that you feel the safest, the most comfortable, and it's your regenerative space. You don't need to change the salt every day. Okay, you don't need to change Munira, you don't need to change the salt every day. You just need to change it every 3 days or every 15 days. No need for every day. It's kind of like you're not allowing the salt to absorb the stuff. So have the patience of having only 3 days minimum, 15 days the longest. So moving into the crystal concept. If you're a crystal lover, there is good news and there's bad news. If you're not a crystal lover, again, good news and bad news. If you're a crystal lover, you might have invested in so many crystals and you haven't really activated them or dedicated stuff on them. I'm saying you might, or you might have not. Crystals have frequencies. If you do not know the purpose of the crystal or how to activate those crystals, you have just gathered a bunch of random frequencies in your house and you're having them around you. And what you're doing is you're playing with the frequency around you and disrupting them without having a clear focus. Okay? So it's important that you know why you have a crystal and you learn to activate it. And that's what you learn in space clearing. Again, that's a process. I can't talk about it right now, but it's important to know what is the reason of that crystal that you have. What have you dedicate that crystal to do for you? Okay. Just reading the comments, but cleaning has to be done one time. I mean, say 1 round or 7 rounds. 7 rounds. Sage is 7 rounds around the bed. So if you want to purchase a crystal purely to keep your energy field clean, then my top 3 crystals would really help you. Number 1, black tourmaline. Number 2, smoky quartz. And number 3 would be shungite. These are my top 3. Are they the only one? No, but these are my top 3. 3 of them are black. The smoky quartz is a bit grayish black. I'm going to show you the smoky quartz I have here. It's a tiny one. You see what the color is like? It's kind of like as if it's dirty. But I just absolutely adore smoky quartz. It has that element of clear quartz a little bit in, and a little of like the black tourmaline effect. It's not black tourmaline, but that impact. So if you do get these crystals, then depending on the size of the crystals, the frequency has an impact. Now, of course, if you activate it and bless it, which you learn in space clearing, it increases the potency of that crystal. So let's say this tumble stone's energy field is about, let me just scan it and see. Let me do it this way. Growing bigger because I've activated it. Okay, so it's this big, guys. The ratio of this crystal's impact is this big. This is how much I'm feeling the density of it. So a tumble stone like this to have and to put it, let's say, in the house and expect your whole house to be cleansed is a little bit being too unrealistic. So some people will invest in a bigger size, which can be used at the entrance of the house, which will keep the house protected and to keep the energy field safe and clean. There are numerous ways that you can experiment with crystals. You can have one next to your bedside table in order to keep you while you're sleeping again from the electromagnetic field. By the way, these 3 crystals help with the electromagnetic waves, which we are very much affected by these days. Having these crystals in your house and in your space, and sometimes even in your purse, will help to keep your energy field clean. So keep these 3 crystals in mind. Whenever you're purchasing them, when you're getting them, you need to make sure that you've cleansed it with salt and water. I love that question. I'll answer you in a minute. You need to wash it with salt and water. Okay. Do not rub it so that the layer of it does not get affected very strongly from the sea salt, but it's useful to like wash it very gently with the sea salt water that you have. So basically you get a bowl, okay, and you add a bit of sea salt, you stir it, and then you pour that on the crystal and you wash it that way. I'm using the water salt remedy for these 3 crystals because it's safe. Not every crystal can be washed because of their density. They could be very fragile and they can chip. Now, if a crystal has a broken piece, you don't need to throw it away, but you really need to reprogram it again for its use. And if it got broken again, it's basically a sign you just need to give it back to nature. Sometimes, actually, this particular crystal that I have a piece broken. I don't know if you guys can see it. See, it's over here. So when a piece is broken from a crystal, that means it has absorbed so much that it couldn't tolerate anymore. It just blurted itself out, okay? Or it just exploded in that way. Sometimes it goes into multiple pieces. Sometimes it gets chipped. So over the years, I've always noticed that if a crystal has broken, then there has been a lot of dense energy, and the crystal has not been able to tolerate it. It's actually breaking itself to release itself. So if you daily cleanse your crystal, it will not easily get broken. And you might be surprised, it will fall on the floor, but it won't get broken. So please keep these 3 crystals in mind: shungite, black tourmaline, and smoky quartz. You can use my code, which is Maria10 from the Illuminations website, so you get a 10% off. What I want to do right now, we still have 10 minutes left. I want to cleanse your energy fields. So what I would ask you to do is please put your feet, don't put them on top of each other. If you're sitting down, just keep your feet on the ground, both of them, and keep your palms in a receptive mode, which is your palms on your laps, and just close your eyes. I'm going to do a full aura cleansing. It's not chakra cleansing, it's aura cleansing. It's quite different, okay? So first take 3 deep breaths. Now I want you to focus on the space above your head, which is your higher crown chakra. Now I want you to feel or see an electric violet flow of energy starting to come through. Starting to wash over your head. Washing towards your neck. Cleansing all the layers of your aura, of your energy field. Washing towards your shoulders. Your arms. Your chest. Any stubborn thought bubbles that are stuck in your aura are being completely washed. Going towards your stomach. Going down towards your hips. Towards your knees. And towards your feet. Now this shower of electric violet energy is going to flow stronger from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet. It's going to wash away anybody's energy that's stuck on you, completely washing them away. Any cords, attachments. The speed of the electric violet color of energy is now getting stronger and stronger. going inside your meridians, your 72,000 meridians. Flushing it out of your energetic bodies now. I want you now to focus on your feet. And feel your roots going deep inside Mother Earth. Deeper and deeper. Until it reaches to the black tourmaline rock, which is in the core of Mother Earth. Now any remaining energy that is unhealthy, a thought bubble that is unhealthy in your aura, is being pulled down towards your roots and inside the black tourmaline rock in the core of Mother Earth. This energy will keep on continuing for the next 3 hours to flush out any remaining residual energy. Take 3 deep breaths and open your eyes. Okay, guys, how are you feeling? Does anyone have any questions? So just to let you know, the space clearing course is happening on July 3rd. It's a 1-day full course, and I'm offering a 15% discount. You can contact Illuminations for it, and you can purchase the discount. The course is going to cleanse and going to teach you how to cleanse your energy bodies from different forms of energy bubbles, attachments, hooks, cords, old beliefs. It's going to be online and on-site. So whoever is excited to come on-site, we will only allow 6 people at this point. Things can change, it can get better, I'm sure. Or you can still do it online. My last online course was back in beginning of May. There is no difference between online and on-site except a personal preference. The energy is not changing, so you actually experienced right now an energetic cleanse. The duration is from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. It is a Friday. You will receive a manual with it. You will receive a certain vibrational frequency upgrade music with it to cleanse and to listen to it on a daily basis. You will also receive different energetic activations to listen to daily to cleanse your energy bodies, which will be recorded by my voice. You will be cleansed and you will practice it on the day of the course as well. And you get the certificate right after that. You're allowed to use that to either help someone's aura to get cleansed or to cleanse the space of someone, whether it's a room, whether it's a house, whether it's a workspace. Once you understand how the mechanics works and how the technique works, then you will be able to apply it. Can we still do the sage thing 7 times? Yeah, of course. Please do the sage thing from now. Definitely. The sage, the salt, I mean, these are two things that I believe that most of you already have at home. And it's super important to start doing them now. I would basically tell you to start doing it today. Today you got your energetic cleanse. It's new moon. It's a beautiful opportunity to start fresh. And you will notice how your aura is going to change. You have now 3 hours. The energy is in a shower mode. That's how the process is working in this case. If you want to have a physical shower, you can do that after 3 hours. I would recommend, not before than that, because the process is still taking place. So you might feel a little bit lightheaded. You might feel a bit tingling sensations going around there. It's absolutely normal because the energy is still continuing. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email to info@IamMariaLeonard.com. Or you can send me a message on my Instagram. It's I am Maria Leonard, or on my Facebook. And make sure that you can get the 15% off. I mean, it's worth it. It's something that is going to help you throughout your whole lifetime. You don't need to have multiple courses to understand how to do that. It's just all condensed in one particular course. You get to do the activities. So many of the things you will learn how to do it energetically, which means you won't need objects, but there are also going to be a process where you will learn how to use different elements to help clear that. It's part of my life scripting courses. You don't need to have a prerequisite to join that because it's very different from level 1 life scripting course. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely evening. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. Lots of love. Take care.